Oh boy. Today's topic is an interesting one, to say the least. Now, this story that I'm going to talk about today is something that I saw on social media a while back. So, most of you watching have probably already seen it and are probably already aware of it. But for those of you that aren't, well, then buckle up because, well, this is a kind of a disturbing story, to say the least. A story that comes out of China. And there's really no other way to explain this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you the post that I saw, show you the picture that was attached to this post on social media, and then give my thoughts on it and discuss and dissect why I feel that it's disgusting and vile, this path that they're going down. So with that said, I guess let's jump into this. All right, so after an intro like that, I bet some of you that are watching that are not familiar with the story are probably wondering, if this story is so disturbing, then why even talk about it? Why even shed light on it? Why even give it any attention? Great question. And to that, I say that this is already happening. It's starting in China. And America buys a lot of stuff from China. So if we're not careful, we could possibly see this here. People will start buying it and bringing it here. There'll be a market for it. So if I don't talk about it and shed light on it and make those of you that aren't aware of it so that we can push back and stand up and resist this, then I'm not doing my due diligence in making you aware so that you can be prepared for what's coming down the line. Because it's scary, but it's happening. So we have to be aware of this so that we know how to push back against it. So with that said, I'm going to show you the post. I'm going to read through the post, and then I'm going to show you the picture that was attached to this post, and then break it down and explain why this is a disturbing story, why it's disgusting and vile, and go from there. So here we go. It says, scientists in China are developing the world's first life-size pregnancy robot capable of carrying a baby to term and giving birth. Dr. Zhang Quifeng, who founded the company IT Kawaii Technology, said the robot will replicate the entire process from conception to delivery. When the sperm and egg will be fertilized inside the robot, then it will grow to term 9 months later. The robot aims to offer a pregnancy alternative for women who wish to avoid the burdens of pregnancy and the dramatic changes it makes to woman's body. The robot will be equipped with an artificial womb that receives nutrients through a hose. It is expected to be released next year with a selling price of around $13,555 US. Feminist activists have been strongly opposed to the use of artificial wombs on the grounds that it could lead to the end of women. The real question now is, will men, once the artificial womb is perfected, want to keep women around? Now here's the picture. Now, Why is this disgusting? Well, it's disgusting on so many levels. First of all, the question that they raise over there was, well, once this actually comes to market, will men actually do this? Because, this whole tension between men and women, right? Women always picking on men. So then men's like, well, we have to be with a woman to be able to have kids, and so that our lineage can kind of continue. So now with having a robot, well, I can avoid all the drama. I can avoid all of the nagging and stuff like that, and I can just get a robot. They can give me a kid. I don't have to worry about them divorcing me and half of my stuff going to the woman, like them taking half of my stuff. I don't have to worry about any of that because it's a robot, right? So are they worried that that's going to be the end of women? But the other side of it, they say feminists, right? Well, that's going to be the end of women. Not to mention the bigger thing earlier on there, where it was talking about how they're designing this to give women a alternative so that they don't have to go through and experience the burdens of pregnancy and the changes and the tolls that it takes on the body. That's part of pregnancy, though. That's part of having a kid. It's not just something that you can just take too lightly. And here's the problem with this on so many levels, because I can see rationales for it, cases being made for it of why it's a good thing. Well, what about IVF and those people that can't have kids? A robot is a good way to make sure that you actually can have kids. And what about for those couples that get married later on in life? The woman is maybe past childbearing age, but they wish that they had a kid. This is now an alternative. This is an alternative, right? Because the robot doesn't really age. You don't have to worry about any sort of health complications, right? Right? So I'm going to kind of go back a little bit to the LGBTQ community, okay? The flag that they use to represent the rainbow flag, that was the rainbow was given by God to the people as a sign that he would not flood the earth, or destroy the earth by a flood. And what did this community take? Something that God has given to his people, and they've polluted it. They've polluted it now to use for representing same-sex marriage and all of this stuff, that whole entire community. They've taken the rainbow, which was a God-given thing to his people, to remind, is like a sign that he would not destroy the earth by a flood again. And now it's been polluted. And now what they're doing, what China is doing with this pregnancy robot, is they're taking something that God has designed, a woman to give birth, and for it to be a sacred and an intimate moment between husband and wife, starting a family. Now you take this and you separate any sort of intimacy because it's all done in a robot. So now there's no relationship, there's nothing there because it's all a robot. For the mere fact of girl bosses, right, not wanting to leave the workforce. Now they can buy a robot and they can have kids without losing out on time, the 9 months and maternity leave and all of that stuff, because now a robot can do that job while you still focus on your career. There's so many things wrong with this. Taking what God has designed and what God has created and now polluting it and distorting it. We have to be careful. We have to push back on this, because if we keep allowing this to happen, they already are estimating a price, right? $13,555 US. They've already given a US price. Why? Because they're planning on selling it in the US to the market, because they believe that there's going to be a market for it. And there probably is. There's probably going to be people that are going to buy this, and they're going to try to convince themselves or make a rationale of why it's a good thing. It's a good thing. We're doing this for the woman, right? For my wife, for my girlfriend, for my fiance, whatever it might be, so that she doesn't have to have any health issues. When you start trying to play God, be careful. Be extremely careful. That is a line and a road you do not want to walk down. So I bring this story to you, this disturbing, disgusting, vile story, so that if anybody you see this being talked about, you can now push back against it. Give them reasons why. It is gross. You're taking something that God designed and now polluting it and making it devoid of any sort of romantic relationship. We can't do this. We can't do this. We cannot walk down this road. I would like to hear your thoughts and your comments. So please let me know below how you feel about this whole story. If you agree with me, if you feel that it's a great alternative, which, I mean, let me know if you kind of land on that side, even though I will say I disagree. I 100% disagree. But I know that there's going to be people out there that will think that this is a good thing. And I just caution you to really evaluate and really think about this. So I thank you guys so much for watching this week. Please pray for our world. We need it. We truly need it. Pray, not just for America, but around the world too, because this is happening in China. So anyway, like I said, thank you guys for tuning in this week. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And stay safe. And until next week, God bless.